Hi there, welcome to the latest edition of my 10-minute moan. The topic of this 10-minute moan is Jason Leitch, the odious character who inhabited my TV screen for lots of months during COVID, standing next to Nicola Sturgeon, telling me and you how to spend their life. Now, Jason today was giving his evidence at the UK COVID inquiry, which was sitting in Edinburgh and will do for the foreseeable to catch up with all the Scottish input into their inquiry. And he made some startling remarks, just jaw-dropping remarks. So, and what we'll do is we'll have a look at this, the first clip of him from today, giving evidence and giving his input into quite a blatant example of civil servants and government advisors deciding to delete WhatsApp messages and try to justify it.
In this, there is a discussion in which Ken Thompson, from whom we've heard, says, "I feel moved at this point to remind you that this channel is FOI recoverable." And then there is a picture of what looks like a face with a mouth zipped over. And then someone called Penelope, who I think is Penelope Cooper, who is identified just above that, says, "Clear the chat." Jim McMenamin says, "Happy to do so." LAN reduced from 51 to 39, but fair comment. To which you say, WhatsApp deletion is a pre-bed ritual. Why did you think that daily deletion of messages was appropriate?
It's a slightly flippant and it's an exaggeration. I didn't daily delete my WhatsApp. My position is, as I've just described to you, that I tried to do today's work today, and if I could assure myself that that work had been managed and dealt with, then I deleted the informal messaging that had led to that moment. But this was a flippant exaggeration in an informal messaging group, and it wasn't done every day before I went to bed.
It would tend to suggest, would it not, this exchange, that all of you are keen to try to delete messages which may subsequently be recoverable in a freedom of information request.
That isn't my position.
Right, so that's Jason in 2021, May 2021, telling us that this conversation of him deleting his texts was just, it was just facetious. It didn't really happen. He was just being flippant, I think is the word he used. Flippant, yeah. Flippant cult member, I think, yeah. And he didn't really mean that he's deleting his WhatsApps every day. Of course he didn't. So this is him defending a chat and text between him and one of the Director Generals of the civil service in Scotland, who are in a WhatsApp group telling each other to delete your WhatsApps. Incredible. Now, in the second clip, we'll see Jason explain why he deleted any WhatsApps. This is fascinating. And pay attention to the dates. The dates are very, very important here.
And at 21:44 on the 30th of September 2020, in this group, you say, "Thanks all, and just my usual gentle reminder to delete your chat, particularly after we reach a conclusion. Thanks all." Could you explain what you're suggesting to the other members of this important group then?
Suggesting that we follow the guidance I've just described to you in precisely the way I've just described it.
All within the category as I've defined it.
I think I have followed the Scottish Government guidance and deleted messages in line with the Scottish Government guidance.
Right, so what Jason is telling us in this clip is that in September 2020, the dates of these ones, where he is instructing people to delete their WhatsApp messages. Unlike the first clip where he was just part of a conversation being led by the Director General, this is him clearly telling a group in a WhatsApp to delete their WhatsApps. And this is happening in September 2020. And what he's trying to use to justify these conversations is he was just doing what he was told by the government because of their policy on handling WhatsApp messages. Now, I ask you to remember the date. It's just September 2020. The Scottish Government didn't have any policy on WhatsApp handling until November 21, and then they updated it again just 4 months ago, which I've covered in a previous video I put out today. So this guy is trying to justify telling everybody in a group to delete their WhatsApp messages. And the excuse is that was a policy. The policy didn't exist until the next year. It is total bunkum. It is true what the guy was trying to allude to in his questioning, where it was a distinct drive to circumvent freedom of information. Now, the other thing is, there's other examples throughout today's inquiry, evidence here by Mr. Leitch, and there's dates after it became apparent that, I think it was in May 21, that the Westminster government stipulated, here you go public, made a big shout about it that there's going to be a COVID inquiry. And even after that event, these people were still deleting WhatsApps. And one of the peculiar things is, he's claiming this thing that didn't exist at the time. I mean, he's either a time traveller, a fortune teller, or just a bloody liar, right? You can make your own mind up which one of those three, because he knew about a policy that didn't happen for a year, about what you should do with WhatsApp messages. And that policy was, you could have your chats on WhatsApp, and then once you'd made an agreement, say you're talking about how long we should have a lockdown. So once you've made an agreement on that, you should take that information off WhatsApp and put it into another format and have it banked electronically off your WhatsApp. That doesn't sound like a bad bit of logic as far as I'm concerned. However, all of these texts, and throughout the day there was other instances where they was involved in policy making discussions, hadn't been submitted by Jason Leitch. They'd been submitted by other people, like Katie Forbes, like Humza Yousaf. So they've managed to take the WhatsApp stuff off and put it into the correct format, because the COVID inquiry have got a conversation with Jason Leitch, but not from Jason Leitch, from Katie Forbes and from Humza Yousaf. None of the stuff that was put in front of James Leitch today to speak about was produced by Jason Leitch. Now, there's an incredible one that came on, I just don't have the footage of it, but I'm sure you'll have seen it, where he's given advice to Humza Yousaf. Humza's going to a do, and he's asking Jason Leitch, who was the health minister at the time, right? And he's asking Jason Leitch for practical advice on what he should and shouldn't do when he's there with his face mask. And what he tells him, because at this point we could go out and sit in restaurants, so obviously you can't have a face mask on if you're allowed in a restaurant, and pubs are open, you couldn't wear a face mask if you're drinking a pint of beer. Jason Leitch told the then health minister for Scotland, just make sure you get a drink in your hand. That'll get you round about the regulations. He's telling the guy that went on to be the next First Minister of Scotland how to circumvent face mask rules that you and I were all held to. Now, the other mad thing about that is, Humza was the health minister at the time, and he didn't know. He's having to ask somebody, what's the regulations just now? I'm going out for a drink. He's going to some function. Imagine that. It just beggars belief. So there we go. That's my wee take on Jason Leitch and his evidence in today's COVID inquiry. This mob are a cult, and he is an odious cult. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe. There'll be some recommendations in the corner for you if you want to watch more. But the most important thing of all, have a great day. Bye now.